I'm Alex back from Board Game Co, and today I'm doing 5 quick reviews of, well, the 5 games you see here. And these are all reviews. These are not going to be first impressions. All of these games I have played multiple times. Some of them I wish I hadn't. In fact, I would say 2 of these games, not for me. The other 3 I definitely enjoyed. How much we're going to go ahead and get into. With that said, let's go in alphabetical order today, which ironically enough, Aetherspire does not get first pick in alphabetical order. We have 5-minute One Piece over here that's going to get that. Also, this channel is sponsored by Allplay. More about them at the end of the video. Let's go ahead and start off with 5-minute One Piece because alphabetical order. This is a redone version of, well, 5-minute, oh my gosh, it's called 5-minute Dungeon? I think it's called 5-minute Dungeon, right? I'm pretty sure that's what the original game was called. I'm pretty sure. Anyways, 5-minute Dungeon from Wiggles 3D is a game which you rapidly play down cards to go ahead and defeat the dungeon boss together. You're trying to match symbols, and you're doing it all at the same time cooperatively with a timer on you. 5-minute One Piece is the same thing, but it's a little different this time. You have your boat over here that you're playing cards down there. You have the specific boss and the challenges you're facing off, and then you're also going through a sequence. You can assemble your crew and then go through a sequence of, I think it's 6 missions if I recall correctly, and you can play them all at once. You can play a single one. You can do what you want as far as different ways to play the game. But the ultimate idea of the game is you set a timer depending on the player count and difficulty mode you're going for. You set the timer, and then you just rapidly place down cards to try to go ahead and complete the challenges by placing the right sequence of cards into the ship, occasionally having some things get in the way and, hiccups that will stop you from doing the things you're trying to do as you try to do them. That's the game. It's real-time, fast-paced card play. If you like One Piece, this is themed around One Piece. If you like real-time games, this is a real-time game. There's really not a lot more to get into. If you like 5-minute Dungeon and you like One Piece, you should pick up this game. There's no question there. This is basically 90% 5-minute Dungeon, 80% 5-minute Dungeon. Some small changes to it, 85%, 86.5%. It's 86.5% 5-minute Dungeon, and then sprinkled with the One Piece theme, and then some small mechanical differences to it. I enjoyed it. I like 5-minute Dungeon. It's not a game that's going to win any prizes, at least for me. I guess that depends on which prize you're talking about, because for me, personally, it won't win any prizes, but in terms of accessibility, a nice theme, ease of play, all of those things, this is a solid gateway game that I enjoy playing. I have fun with it. To me, I'm going to give it a 3.5 out of 5. It is definitely very much on the lighter side, but it's still a fun time on the lighter side. I enjoy this game. I've had fun with it. I would happily play it again. For right now, it's sticking around because my kids like One Piece and we still haven't, we haven't fully explored it, I guess I'd say. But I don't imagine this is a game that lives forever. This is a game that's going to live in my collection until my kids stop asking for it, which could be in 2 months, it could be in 2 years. Ultimately, time will tell. That is a 5-minute One Piece. From there, let's go ahead. That was supposed to be like a fun slide, but then I realized it's going to go underneath this bigger box. It doesn't look good. So ultimately it didn't kind of work. From there, we go ahead into Aetherspire, which I wanted to like, and I unfortunately do not. Aetherspire from Phase Shift Games is a game about trying to build structures. You're building these structures. It's actually not a dexterity game, kind of looking like, it's not like an assembly game where things fall down. You're literally just building 3D structures on top of each other until you get to the spires. You're trying to build all the spires. You have a variety of bosses you have to deal with along the way, and every round you're going to be taking invaders that are going to be getting in the way and blocking the construction sites, but those invaders also function as your resource for your spells, which honestly is the main hook of the game. The main hook of the game is how you're going to spend your spells to deal with the invaders. That's the main agency you have. I didn't love it. It's a cooperative game or solo. You can play it solo as well. You're trying to build the spires. I just didn't find the decision making to be super interesting. It doesn't have the real-time frenetic madness that like One Piece, 5-minute One Piece does. The decision space I didn't find to be super compelling. The spells are the main hook. The spells you have are the main hook as to, I guess player abilities. The players have abilities as well. That adds a little bit of fun to it. But the game is like, it plays out across 10 rounds. The invaders are progressively getting harder and harder. And then you just have to deal with the invaders as they come. I think when it comes to cooperative games, they fall into that general pattern of the good guys do good things and then the game does bad things. But I think that how the good things happen and how the bad things happen are where a game goes from being super interesting to super not interesting. I felt Aetherspire checked the boxes. It checked the boxes of, okay, great, the good things happen. You take your actions, you cast spells, you use asymmetric abilities, and then the bad things happen and you draw invaders from the bag, putting them on the various spots. There's also going to be abilities on the tiles that will affect things as you go. I just didn't find the decision space to be super interesting. I didn't find the threat, and there's difficulty modification as well, so you can adjust that as well if you want it harder or easier. But regardless of the difficulty modification, I just didn't find what was happening on the invader side to be super interesting. It felt more iterative. You put things on the board, I take things off the board. Did I feel clever? Not particularly. Did I feel particularly challenged? No, but you could modify the difficulty, but the issue is it wouldn't make a game feel cleverer to me. I want to feel clever. I want to feel like the way I combo things was interesting, was unique. Like I used that ability combined with that, and because of that I was able to find my way around those bad things that were happening, or I was really clever with my action efficiency. I don't have any of those clever moments in Aetherspire. It just checks the boxes. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with it, but I think to me it's just check boxes. I'm gonna give it a 2.5 out of 5. Unfortunately, wanted to like this one. The art's cute. The feeling of the asymmetric abilities is cute. The actual gameplay, unfortunately, did not work for me. From there, let's go into the next in alphabetical order, which is Fable Fury, which for me, this means that you get the 2 games that did not work for me in order, because Fable Fury, I hated. I wanted to like this game so bad. I really wanted to like Fable Fury. It wasn't on my radar like way back when. I saw the game was on Kickstarter, and it looked like it had good art, but I wasn't super compelled by the gameplay. And they sent me a copy, and I was intrigued. Like I said, yes, I'm happy to cover it. It looks interesting. The art, I don't think it's gonna be top 10 for me. I think my kids will enjoy it, and I think I'll have fun playing it. Because the basic idea is you're laying out a map, you're going through 3 phases, and you have to go through these 3 phases, places, whatever you want to call them, before you go ahead and face off against the boss. And in each phase, you have events, you have traps, you have monsters, and then you have shrines and portals. I think those are the 5 things. Events, traps, monsters, shrines, and portals. Now, the events are basically things that will happen, good or bad, and all that. The traps are bad things, basically going to attack you unless you manage to evade them, and they'll take damage. And then the monsters, you have to work together to go ahead and face off and defeat them, rolling dice, utilizing your abilities and all that as you go. That's the game. You're trying to explore. I guess let's just show you this over here. You're exploring on this board. You have various region cards that you're going to define that will define the region. Again, you're placing these 3 regions you're going through that get progressively more difficult, and they get more difficult because you're getting abilities you're going to slot into your character's dashboard. As you find the portals and the shrines, you're going to be powering up, drawing abilities, and then building out your unique character and how they work, which is the only part of the game that's fun. The only part of the game that's fun is when you draw abilities and pick which ability to utilize. Everything else about the game, in my opinion, is terrible. And again, I've played this multiple times, I've played it solo, I've played it well, you can't play competitively. I've played it solo and cooperatively, trying to figure out, what am I missing here? And I think this is a beer and pretzels game that has some appeal. 5-Minute One Piece is a beer and pretzels game. I think that's the point of it. The game is, because there's no agency. There's very, 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 very little agency. You can choose which region to explore. Does it make a significant difference? Not really. You choose which region to turn over. It's not really a ton of choice there. Granted, you do have these little crystal balls that help you look at a region, so there's choices to when to use your crystal ball. That's some degree of agency. After that, the choice comes into which ability you're going to take for your character. Everything else is just you roll dice. You have to go ahead and evade, roll dice. You have to go ahead and attack, roll dice. Any real mitigation, decision, choices, abilities, action economy, nope, you just roll dice. You encounter the thing, you roll the dice until you win or lose, and then lose all your health. And that's the other thing, the game, and I looked online to find whether I'm crazy here, and I'll tell you, there's actually, I have a conspiracy theory in this one, okay? I'll get into this. This is not where this is going to go, but it's going to go there now. I was so thrown off by the difficulty of this game because it's a light beer and pretzels game where the slightest incorrect sequence, if you get your ability first, you're a little better off. If you encounter like a monster or 2 monsters in a trap before your ability, which can absolutely happen. There's 4 monsters per level. I can't remember, I think the traps change based on level. If you encounter the monster and the traps too early, there's decent chance you're all gonna die. It depends on the monster, sure. Even though the monsters are easy, medium, and hard, it's still, the action economy is just not there. A few poor rolls, and boom, you're dead. You get the monster that is impossible to hit the first few rounds, boom, you're dead. You get the monster that escalates in their agility the first few rounds. If you don't kill them early on, you have to roll 6s. In the meantime, they've killed you. And if you don't have your abilities at that point of the game, you're dead. You can die way too early, way too easily in this game, and the action economy, I'm going on a bent at this point, the action economy as far as taking down a monster, if I use my crystal ball to find a monster, the reward you get for the monster is not worth the amount of health you're going to lose trying to deal with it. So you actually incentivize to avoid the things in the game, which adds to the not fun of the part. So there's not really a lot of agency. The game is way too hard, luck dependent. Again, there is luck in terms of the events you get, whether you get your ability first, that matters a lot. But if you don't get your ability first before you encounter a bunch of monsters, there's a decent chance you're going to have a hard time living throughout that first level. Now, you could reset quickly and try again, but that seems like a very big design flaw. And this gets back to that little conspiracy theory aspect. Looking at the ratings, because whenever I have a game experience that's so off from what I think I should be getting, because beer and pretzels, no decision space, That's totally fine. Listen, every game has an audience. I can enjoy a good beer and pretzels game with minimal decision space. The decision space here is that it's real time. That's the fun. But I don't mind a good beer and pretzels game. It just depends on what vibes you're hitting. The issue here is it's weirdly hard and luck dependent for a game that has no decision space. You can play this game, you can set it up to have a good family game night, sit down to play, and then 2 minutes later, you're all dead. This happened to me. My kids will not play this game again. They were done after the second play. They were like, yeah, that's not been fun. I didn't enjoy that. So I went online and looked up the reviews to see whether this is my experience or the experience. Because if it's just me, maybe I'm reading a rule wrong. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. It's always possible something is wrong. And it seems that there's 2 kinds of experiences. There's people online complaining about the difficulty, giving it kind of mediocre reviews or house rules because they're experiencing the same thing I am. And then there's like a ton of people giving it like 9s and 10s. I believe, I could be wrong here, I believe that the publishers here probably did one of those things where they incentivized their audience to go give the game a 9 and a 10. The rating schema, the rating breakdown of this doesn't feel like people naturally going, oh my gosh, this is the best game I've played. It feels like a lot of people who are incentivized to go rate the game. And I could be wrong. I haven't done a deep dive into trying to find where or how. It just didn't get it. Check it out for yourself. See what you make of it. Anyways, for me personally, this game is a 1.5 out of 5. I do not like it. It gets points for presentation, points for the accessibility and beer and pretzels, but then the lack of any decision space and way too hard and possibly requiring house rules to be able to actually enjoy yourself, not for me, unfortunately. Tried it multiple times. Again, cooperative, solo, everything. I'm not saying you can't win. I'm just saying it's weirdly luck dependent on how fast you can flop and have to reset, which just doesn't feel like a fun time. Anyways, on to better games. We have Pinched over here. Pinched for Mighty Boards. This fun. Well, let's talk about the game first. In Pinched, you're basically a mastermind. You're a mastermind trying to decide where you're going to get your treasure from. But you're trying to play a little bit of a bluffing game of telling the others where you're going to go or what you're going to do because other players are going to be trying to steal the treasure from you as you go. There's a bunch of location abilities that mix things up, but the core premise of the game is I want stuff and I want to make sure that other players don't take my stuff, and so I will play mind games with other players to ensure they don't take my stuff. That's the entire game. That's what it comes down to, as you take turns being the mastermind and all that. Then I saw it was designed by David Gordon after playing it because I didn't realize this, but I was like, this kind of felt very similar to a game called Scurry Up that I played recently. I think I reviewed it in one of those roundup reviews I do on the channel. So I played Scurry Up, I reviewed that, and I was like, this felt very reminiscent of Scurry Up. The main difference is that there's more interesting abilities going on and you take turns being the mastermind, but the whole idea of the game is the table talk as to what you are and aren't going to take, and David Gordon designed that too. Very similar game structures. Not to say that the idea of going to places and taking stuff, it's been done other places, like Critter Kitchen does that as well. In fact, I would say Pinched is very similar to Critter Kitchen. The main thing about Pinched for me is that ultimately in Pinched, if you aren't talking to other players, this is a terrible experience. If you aren't playing mind games with other players, this is just boring. It's a boring game, which is the same problem I had with Scurry Up to a degree, where if you just go places and do things, it's not interesting. It's a 2.5, maybe a 3, if you're not engaging in table talk and mind games. If you're engaging in table talk and mind games, and your group does that kind of thing. If you're into that, you're like, I'm going to go there. Great, I'm going to go there. Good, I hope you go there because I'm going to go there. I know I'm going there. Neither of you go there. If you enjoy that kind of thing and your group enjoys that kind of thing, it's a 3.5 out of 5. I would say for me, this is a 3.5 out of 5, group dependent. It's not a great game. It's not an amazing game. It's just a fun time game. Again, if you enjoy games like Sheriff of Nottingham, if you enjoy games like Critter Kitchen, if you enjoy that kind of aspect, the difference is, in like Critter Kitchen, I think that the game kind of makes more incentive as to what you're going to do, and it's less about like table talk and bluffing. It's more about just going places. This very much is about playing mind games with other players. Otherwise, it's completely uninteresting. So I've played this with some people who weren't into that and fell flat, as I would expect, and I've played with people who are into that, and it's a decent fun time. So 3.5 out of 5, but with the asterisk that it is very group dependent. And then lastly, we have Temple Code. Temple Code is from Lucky Duck Games. Is it from Lucky Duck Games? It says Bakins Editions. Oh, Lucky Ducks. Okay, so different companies too. 2 different companies. Okay. Bankeys Editions and Lucky Duck Games. Temple Code is a deduction game. It's a deduction game in which you are trying to figure out your specific pattern. You have this card over here that gives you 3 specific icons out of 6 possible icons, and the order of those icons, where they are, you're trying to figure that out. You're trying to say, oh, I have pink, blue, green. I have red, blue, yellow. And the way you do that is with a mastermind type system. If you haven't played Mastermind, it's the classic system behind, well, Mastermind, as well as even things like Wordle, if you played Wordle, which is you make a guess and then you're given information about is your thing in the right place, or is your thing present at all, or is it in the right place? So for example, if I have blue, green, red, and I take a matching card that says blue, yellow, whatever, white, the game system will tell me you have one icon in the right place. Or it'll tell me you have one icon in the right place, one icon in the wrong place. But it'll tell me you have no icons at all in common. Through gathering cards, you are gaining information as to what's on your card. So the entire game system is you're trying to gather cards from the table. The other part of this game that makes it interesting is that the cards you take from other players, they get the card you don't take. In front of each player, there's 2 cards plus their own card, and whichever card you don't take, they get. So part of the game is what information is helpful to me. Part of the game is what information do I want to deny my opponent, because that card is going to help them too much, and then they'll win, and I don't want them to win because we got interrupted. I don't want them to win because I want to win. So the whole game is all about that information exchange and trying to figure out what information you need and what information you can give them. That is Temple Code. I like it. It's fun. It's a 3.5 out of 5. It's straightforward. It's simple. There's a solo mode that I haven't played, but you could play it solo. There's a very clever card system as far as how it orients the symbols. That's very clever as far as allowing you to play solo and allowing you to get that information. It plays multiple players as well. Like if you play games like Mastermind is often 2 players. I think it's just 2 players. This is a 1 to 4 player game. You could play with multiple people, exchanging information as you go. But overall, I had a fun time with this one. A 3.5 out of 5. Which means it's recap time. We have 5-minute One Piece. This is a 3.5 out of 5. It's fun, it's simple, it's beer and pretzels, it's real time. Aetherspire, unfortunately not for me. This gets a 2.5 out of 5. Fable Fury gets a 1.5 out of 5. Temple Code gets a 3.5. And Pinched gets a 3.5 with the asterisk that it is very group dependent. That has been your roundup review of 5 different games. I mentioned that Allplay is a channel sponsor. If you enjoy a variety of games, both from Allplay and their partner publishers, let's say you enjoy Deduction, for example. If you go to allplay.com, I have a cat meowing in the background trying to get into the room. I'll take care of it in a second. That's all the meows over here. If you go to allplay.com, you can find a variety of deduction games, such as Things and Strings, Things on Rings, Things and Rings, Things on Strings is the new one, Things and Rings, Message from the Stars. They have other deduction games that I can't remember offhand. They have more. They have a bunch of deduction games you can check out, both from them and their partner publishers, and you can get them all at allplay.com. And with that, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. I hope you enjoyed this video, and until next time, I hope you have a good one.